All right, dropped my little girl off at preschool and we are headed into Goodwill. I'm just gonna go quick. Just wanna make sure I'm not leaving behind any huge banger hats that I can flip real quick. All right, so what do we have here in the hard goods? Hot air popper by Presto. Generally speaking, the Presto ones don't do as well. Hockey stick. That's a nice hockey stick. This is probably kind of a cheap one. Actually, that one's fiberglass. These would be such a pain to ship though. One of them's left-handed and one of them's right-handed. Also, maybe I'll do some digging on those real quick. So you want to see the number, CCM 852 heart. This is interesting. Just from a distance, I was not expecting it to be Caterpillar. That's weird. $13. Yeah, I'm not paying that. So these are Merrills, and they're pretty worn in, let's say. And they might be a good flip if they weren't $15 and the soles were worn clear through. Those are probably way overpriced too. Double H boots, $8, but they're beat. They're really worn through the soles and dirty. Shiny cool Adidas. $11. Michael Jackson on the radio, super loud. Flip-a-zoo. Not seeing anything great. So this is $2.50, but there's 13 listed, only 3 sold. This might get me a little bit excited, but I think it's definitely modern reproduction, not old school vintage Batosi. But we're gonna look at it real close. Yeah, definitely not. These are sealed tarot decks. Those might be worth picking up. Whoa. We love Bluey stuff at my house. 99 cents. It says it's new. It's taped back up. I think we're gonna buy that just to keep. I think these just aren't gonna be worth it either. At $3 a piece, they might be 10, they might be $12 a piece, but they might also be 4 or 5, and I can't tell the difference between the really good ones and the not good ones. And that doesn't like have a model number or something on it that makes it unique, so I'm gonna leave it. It should be, if they were older, the older seem to be way better. So I've said it a handful of times, we are just striking out, not finding anything. This is not a kind of a peak time where I would expect to do well, but you know, you never hope to strike out. That's so funny. If I picked those up the other day, that would have been 3 and 14 that I didn't have on top of those yesterday. There's 1 up here, 1 for the money. If I get 1, 2, 3, that would be good. And there's 11. 4. There's 1, 2, 3. There's a 1, 3, and 4. 6, 10. I guess I'm gonna hunt around a little bit for that. There's a lot of like church history and Bibles kind of stuff here. I'm gonna dig around a little bit, see if any of that's worth anything. I did find like, so 1, 3, 4, 6, 10, 11, 14, 18, but not any significant runs. If I found 2, I'd probably end up getting 1 through 4. Janet, about 17. This has none of this exact copy. There's like 50 of this title listed, but they're like, a bunch of them are really old. This has this exact copy. There's none listed. There's 1 sold on Terapeak for like $15. So I don't think I'm gonna wait forever on that to sell. There are like these down here are cherry good kind, which can do well. I thought I saw something else, some kind of fantasy stuff. Tour. That's yeah, but they're not the same author, so I'll probably just look at those down there and be done with the books. So I just keep sticking them over here. 16, 18, 11, 10, 20, 17, 14, 6, 4, 1, 3. Let's look at DVDs and Blu-rays while I'm totally having a bust of a day. If you happen to find on Blu-ray Dogma, the Kevin Smith movie from the late 90s, if you find, or DVD on that one, if you find Dutch, which is the guy from Married with Children, that's a really, really good one. And like My Superhero Ex-Girlfriend, but no such luck on any of that today. No giant banner hats today. Life is Good hat for $2.48. So I had just said that I was striking out like crazy and that I wasn't finding anything. And then a friend of mine, like, I was friends with her son in high school, and then she's a follower of the channel, and we talk more than any of her sons anymore, but came up, hey Tom. And so while we were standing there talking, somebody pulled this off the rack and then put it back. That is a Disney Spirit jersey, and that's probably a $40 pickup for $6. And then I found this, which is not great, but it's long sleeve vintage camo single stitch pocket tee. It's $5. I'm a little on the fence on it, but it's Spirit jerseys to get for sure. But also saying hi to Lynn, you know, turned things around a little bit for me. All right, so yesterday I went to the Thrift, and that was not a great trip. So that's a short video. I turned off my promoted listings and ended up with very few sales. So this is going to be the second half of not a tremendous video. So let's do that. So only 6 sales overnight, or since yesterday anyway. I shut off my promoted listings, and I'm really just not getting the traffic that I was before. I'm not being able to send offers. Like usually when I have a send offers to watchers and I haven't looked at my phone in 2 hours, it's 25. Yesterday it was 4. Like, just kind of in generalities, there's noticeably less traffic in my store. I generally will, you know, and I don't count, but it feels like I send offers to 100 people a day on a normal day. With promoted listings off, I bet it was 20. And I think my sales kind of reflect that same thing, where I normally sell 12 or 15 a day, and I'm selling 4, 5, 6 today. I told you this thing, the glass in the body cell, this funnel sold for $12 free shipping, $12 and change free shipping. So all I have left is this thing, in it being listed for like 4 or 5 days. And I didn't do the math, but it definitely feels like I made more money, and it's going to be so much easier to deal with the small pieces than it is just ship the whole thing. So that sold for $12. This Harley Davidson hoodie, I think I paid $4 for this. It's women's, and it still has this thing in it, which, while it's part of the like size tag, I think anybody who wore this very much would cut that out. I don't imagine you would want that in there. And then it has Shovelhead Harley Davidson on the back. So that's a nice hoodie. It is, like I said, I think I paid $4 for that at a yard sale, and that would have been in the middle of the summer. and it sold for $25 plus shipping. This is one of those books that you press the buttons and it makes noise. I sold it as working. As you can see, it's not working, but it was sitting in a box with something pressed up against one of the buttons. So my suspicion is I need to change batteries again before I ship this. But these books, the batteries are super easy. There's a little screw here. This pulls up. Sometimes the battery access is like here in the side where you wouldn't see it with the book closed and it on a shelf. But batteries are really easy to change on these. They're really cheap. And these books sell if they're in working condition. So I pick them up. I comp them anyway. I pick them up when I find a good one. This sold for, I had it listed for $24.99. Free shipping. Buyer came in with a $20 offer. And I'm like, yes, thank you. This used to say Ford on it. I know I bought it for $1. It's all stained up on the bottom. If you found this and it was like legible and said it Ford really nice, even with some stains, it's a $25 free shipping duffel bag. I listed it for $10 plus shipping, assuming that somebody would want it, but it really isn't worth much because it's just too far gone. And it sold at $10 plus shipping. And then I went to a yard sale that the lady yelled at Evelyn about picking up plush. Not that I'm bitter about it. 6 months later. And I found a bunch of the Mountain brand hoodies that were kind of new. They're like, this has a barcode from Amazon on it. So no one's ever worn this. It's unworn in new condition, but it's not like new with tags. The hoodie straps are still kind of stuck together. So like it has some indicators that it's never been worn. I paid $3 a piece for 3 of them, I want to say. So I will say that 3 for $3, $9. Anyway, this one sold for $25 free shipping. Yes, $25 free shipping. And then the only other thing, I haven't dug it out yet, is a VHS tape. And it sold for $9 plus shipping. Just a weird movie hoarder house thing that I have nothing into. And so that's it, guys. I might leave my promoted listings off another day or two because I really want to see how this experiment's going to work out. But I sold, like, I think I'll put the thing up. Like, I have not had below $100 days very much in the entire 90 days. And yesterday was like 130, putting it in the bottom 10 of my last 90 days. And I need to be making money. So as much as I want to experiment and figure this out, a day as bad as yesterday bears proof to me that it's not, I don't think it's worth continuing the experiment for me. Now I know a handful of viewers and people that I know personally have said, when I turn on promoted listings, I get less views and I pay more and to sell less stuff. And if that's your experience, I'm sorry that that's happening, and I don't know what to tell you. It is not my experience. So just keep working on it, keep fiddling with it, figure out what does work. I think obviously if you're digging into your page views and you can say with promoted listings on, I have this many page views during a day, during a given couple of day period, and then I turn them off and my page views go up, I think that is worth investigating and saying it's not worth doing promoted listings. But it might be, like I said, anecdotal. I feel like I'm making more money, but then my wife is a number person, and she dug into the numbers and she's like, yeah, it looks like for paying 11%, your income went up 33%. So even a net of 22 is fantastic. eBay is getting harder. There are less people buying in general all over the world. Like, it's not just less people buying on eBay, less people are spending money. And so the point for me is not to go invent sales. I am not going to create a market that doesn't exist and bring magical buyers. But eBay, even though eBay is, instead of selling $2 billion, they're selling $1.75 billion. And I'm selling this much down here. I have a lot of room to move. So for me, it's not about getting the economy as a whole is coming down, and so there's less money being spent, so you can't expect to make as much money because people aren't spending as much money. I have to do what I can do. Like, there's still room for growth. But you have to think about it as improving market share. You are trying to get, instead of getting 0.000000001% of all of eBay's sales, if you go to 0.0000005% of those sales, that's a 5 times increase. And so, like, there is plenty of money being spent on eBay. We just have to figure out how to go get that money, whether eBay is a $2 billion pie or a $1.5 billion pie. There's plenty of pie. So that's my focus now, is knowing that eBay doesn't expect things to get bigger and better, and knowing that, well, I think generally speaking, the macro economy is shrinking some, or at least kind of receding. If we're not, we're definitely not growing. So that doesn't have to mean that your store shrinks. But if your store is going to not shrink, it's going to have to be because you're more aggressive, you're sourcing better items and pricing them more competitively, and being more dedicated with your ad spends, so that you are getting a bigger piece of the pie. List 2 more items a day than you normally would list, and your store will grow. You'll get more views. You'll get more in the algorithm, and then eBay will start to say, then everything grows, but it grows incrementally. So we have to not think about, oh, the economy is shrinking, so I can't expect to get more sales. You can, because you're an ant eating a pumpkin pie, and all that you could possibly consume is only going to be a very small portion of the pie. So if you, instead of eating a reasonable amount, you just totally glut out, it doesn't make a huge difference in the whole pie. You just have to get a bigger piece of teeny, go from being this big to being this big. And in the scheme of eBay, it's doable. So continue to grow your store. Continue to move forward. And even if eBay is shrinking, it's not shrinking so fast that you can't grow within the system. So be aggressive in every avenue you can figure out to be aggressive in. And I think you'll continue to grow. I think I'll continue to grow, because I don't need to sell $1 billion. I don't need to sell. I've never had a year where I've hit $100,000 in sales. That would be kind of like a tier for me. I've been reasonably close a handful of times, but there's no reason for me to believe I could not sell $100,000. And even in a shrinking eBay, $100,000 is nothing to them. And so I just have to figure out a strategy that's going to work to get me over the hump of $100,000 in sales in a year. Yeah, don't be discouraged that things are not looking up for the whole, because you are you, and the whole is everything. So if eBay is expecting to not have growth, it's not expecting to shrink into nothing, so you can still grow within that system. That's what I'm trying. Okay, so I told you guys I was gonna make a video of packing that ceiling fan. I didn't. It was a mess, and I didn't really have a plan. I just went after it. So I was like, I can't really film and narrate not a plan, just flying by the seat of my pants. So I didn't do that. But it did get packed, and it's like 23 by 17 by 14, and it's 9 pounds. So it was going to cost me $78 to ship on eBay or on USPS ground, but UPS ground came in at like 24. It's a lifesaver. I expected it to be somewhere in that ballpark, so I sold it for $75 plus shipping, and the buyer paid right at $23 shipping. So I didn't make anything on the shipping, but I bought it for $5 and sold it for $75. So I'll put the numbers up. You guys can see them. I am gonna just I'm turning the promoted listings back on. I have not sold diddly nothing today, and my payout, it's Thursday, and I know I'm gonna make more money over the weekend, but like if today was payday, I would be having no money, and I can't be there. Today I've sold $16. Yesterday I sold $138. The day before that was a good day at $373, but the day before that was $194. So, and I had one dip day when I had one day that was only $144 when I was doing promoted listings. So I'm going to turn right now. I have made one sale today at $15.94 is a t-shirt for $9.99 plus shipping. And I am going to, at noon exactly, 10 minutes after 12, turn in the promoted listings back on at 11% and see how much better my day gets, because I cannot not make money. Not an option. So I'm going to tack this onto the end of that video, and I'll probably put in a little clip towards the end of the day to tell you how much difference that made. So in conclusion, I made one more sale today, and it was a promoted listing, and so it's 8:30 at night, and I've sold $48. Tomorrow is going to have to be different, and I guess I'll record and figure out how tomorrow is different, because I can't have $50 days. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, following, clicking the bell, all the things that you do. We're going to see you on the next one, guys. Thanks.